Yo, peace, my Yugi peeps. If you're a Yugi boomer like myself, you know the modern card game isn't quite what it used to be. Saiyan summons, hand traps, and 30-minute long turns are just not how we played the game growing up. But if you've been longing for a chance to return to those simpler times, you're in luck. With the release of the Yugioh Early Days collection, we have the chance to return to that bygone era. And we don't have to return alone, as the collection will feature online multiplayer, a first for all of the games featured in the collection. The first game that will feature online play in the collection is Duel Monsters 4 Battle of Great Duelists, originally a Japan exclusive title. My goal is to create a video series dedicated to PvP for Duel Monsters, as there isn't much information currently available at the moment, at least on YouTube. I believe this guide will be helpful as Duel Monsters plays a bit differently from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Similarities. You start with 8,000 life points and 5 cards in hand. You can normal summon 1 monster a turn or special summon as many monsters as you like. You can have up to 5 monsters on your field at once. Monsters are played in both attack and defense positions. Magic and trap cards can also be used to buff yourself or weaken your opponent. You win by lowering your opponent's life points to 0, or if they deck out, or if you summon Exodia, the Forbidden One. Now, let's go over how they differ. Phases. Phases have been majorly simplified in Duel Monsters. There are only 3, a standby phase, a draw phase, and what I call the action phase. The standby phase occurs at the beginning of the turn and has 2 functions. During your standby phase, you'll be told how many turns remain for Swords Revealing Light if it's active, and if you have a card on the field in the Great Moth line, it will evolve into its next form. Next is the draw phase, which is pretty straightforward. You draw 1 card if you have 4 or less in hand. In this game, hand size is limited to 5 cards, and there is no way to increase this limit. If you have 5 cards in your hand at the start of your draw phase, you do not draw a card. However, you can discard any number of cards in your hand to the graveyard before your turn ends. Finally is the action phase. Here, you can summon monsters, activate magic cards, set trap cards, and declare attacks. You can do any of these actions in any order you like, so you can attack with monsters you already have on the field before summoning a new monster and then attacking with that one. This can be handy for getting around trap cards that activate when a monster declares an attack. Monsters. All monsters are summoned face down in attack position and are not flipped face up unless they attack, are attacked, or activate their effect. You can switch a monster to defense position without flipping it face up. However, you cannot activate the effects of monsters in defense position. Monsters must activate their effect before being flipped face up and cannot activate their effects after they have already been flipped face up. At the end of your turn, any face-down attack position monsters you control are flipped face-up. Fusion monsters. Polymerization is not needed to fuse monsters. Fusions are done simply by placing 1 monster on top of another monster. This can be done either on the field or in the hand. If a fusion monster is created on the field, it counts as a special summon, so you can fusion summon as many monsters as you want in a single turn. However, fusion monsters created on the field have summoning sickness and must wait 1 turn before attacking or switching to defense position. Fusion monsters created in the hand cannot be summoned the same turn they are fused together. They must also be normal summoned and tribute summoned if they have 5 stars or higher. Ritual monsters. Ritual monsters can be summoned using 2 different methods. The first method is to summon them with their accompanying ritual spell. All ritual spells require 1 specific monster and 2 generic monsters as tribute. All 3 of these monsters must be on the field at the time the ritual spell is activated. You cannot tribute from your hand. Like fusion summons, a ritual summon counts as a special summon. Unlike fusion monsters, ritual monsters do not suffer from summoning sickness and can attack or change their position on the same turn they are summoned. The second method for summoning a ritual monster is a lot simpler, as ritual monsters can also be directly added to the deck and tribute summoned without the use of their respective ritual magic card. Alignments. The alignment system is arguably the biggest change between Duel Monsters and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Every monster card in Duel Monsters is assigned one alignment, and each of these alignments are either superior or inferior to another one. When a monster with a superior alignment battles one with an inferior alignment, the inferior alignment monster is destroyed instantly, regardless of either monster's stats. Do note that battle damage is still calculated if the superior monster has a higher attack or defense. What this ultimately means is that having a higher attack value is not the only way to beat over another monster. The 300 attack Karibo will beat the 3000 attack Blue Eyes White Dragon every time because its shadow alignment has superiority over Blue Eyes' light alignment. The alignment system is split into 3 distinct charts that have no overlap with each other. These charts are Elemental, Magical, and Divine, and they work like so. Chart 1. Elemental. Fire beats Forest, Forest beats Wind, Wind beats Earth, Earth beats Thunder, Thunder beats Water, Water beats Fire. Chart 2. Magical. Shadow beats Light, Light beats Fiend, Fiend beats Dreams, Dreams beats Shadow. Chart 3. Divine. The one and only. Divine alignment is unique in that it has no advantage or disadvantage over any other alignment. This alignment is used for all ritual monsters as well as the god cards. Magic and traps. You can activate as many magic cards in a turn as you like. However, there is no magic zone, so you cannot set any magic cards on the field. Also, magic cards do not linger, so equip, field, and continuous magic cards leave the field immediately after resolving their effect. There is a trap zone, however, you may only set one trap card at a time, and the trap card will automatically activate when its conditions are met. You do not have a choice in the matter. Unique to Duel Monsters 4, Battle of Great Duelists. A feature unique to Duel Monsters is the deck capacity and card cost system. Each monster, magic, and trap card has a cost for being placed into your deck, and the total sum of all the cards cannot exceed your total deck capacity. The stronger a card, the higher that card's deck cost will be, with the idea of the system being to limit how many powerful cards you can jam into one deck. PvP battles can have different deck capacity limits, with the highest being 9,999, which is an unlimited format. A very unique feature to Duel Monsters 4 is that a monster's level is directly tied to its stats. Any monster with an attack or defense stat of 1400 or more is a 5-star monster and must be tribute summoned. A quick way to remember is like this. With a stat of 0 to 1399, you'll have a 1, 2, 3, or 4-star monster which requires no tributes. With a stat of 1400 to 2099, you'll have a 5 or 6-star monster which requires 1 tribute. With a stat of 2100 to 2799, you'll have a 7 or 8-star monster which requires 2 tributes. With a stat of 2800 to 3499, you'll have a 9 or 10-star monster which requires 3 tributes. And with a stat of 3500 or more, you'll have an 11 or 12-star monster which will still require 3 tributes. Level 12 is reserved exclusively for the god cards. Finally, when Duel Monsters 4 was originally released in Japan, it was given the Pokemon treatment and released in 3 different versions, a Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey version. These 3 versions have cards exclusive to them that can be used only in their respective version. For example, Blue Eyes can only be added to your deck in the Kaiba version. Dark Magician can only be added to your deck in the Yugi version. However, in the Early Days collection, you can disable this restriction. I'm actually really curious though how battles will look with this restriction kept on. I wonder what the card pool is. I haven't really dug into that yet, but we'll see. Conclusion. So, those are the basics of Duel Monsters. Very similar to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but more like how it appeared in the Duelist Kingdom arc. So please, like and subscribe. This video covered the basics, but I have plans to get more in depth with the Duel Monster game in future videos. I'm looking forward to dueling with you all soon, and until then, peace, my Yugi peeps.